hard.
Yeah,
it can
really
be
hard.
so difficult, but like the freedom that you find in that completion and that self-completion and like self-acceptance that this is just not where you're supposed to be at, then you're like, okay, so where am I supposed to be at?
Oh, you hate on me? Copy that. Oh, you don't like me? Copy that. I got your attention. Copy that. Not to mention, copy that.
Since I was 6, I've been the sickest, but they must have forgot. I ain't finna tell you how I'm coming, won't you sit back and watch? This for the ones who always talking, tryna play on my talk. I already had that nigga that you rebounding got. I'm from that wreck, I ain't with all of that. The shots I'm calling it.
Hello, spiritual sirens. We're back at it again today. You know, per usual, it's your girl Faith and Miss Ella, and today our special guest is
Liana.
We love it. We love it. We love it. Please tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am Liana. I am a social work major.
Period.
DC. I have my own shea butter business.
Period.
Okay, make sure y'all go ahead and shop. You know.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be linked below.
I'm in a team called KUTV with my girl Faith here.
Oh, we're gonna have a little, little promo part because we have a big ass event coming soon.
Hey, make sure I see y'all there though. I want to see y'all there.
Come on.
Sure, 100%. Okay. And then I also have another team called Zoo World. You know, a whole lot of Zoo World shit. You know. CWM, you know.
Oh, I'm there. Okay. So sorry. So tell us a little bit about, the different things that you're into. You know what I'm saying? Just give it shine a little light for the people so they know what you be getting into.
Okay, well, when I first joined my team, because I was in Zoo World before I was in KUTV.
Right.
So when I first joined my team, like, I just started being around people with, like, so much creativity, like, that's into, like, editing and videos and all of that. So when you're, like, around a lot of those people that have certain interests, like, you start to, like, tap into those certain things. So I started getting into film a little bit more. Right. So I did my first short silent film, coming out soon. I acted in it. So I acted in it, and then I used my poem. So it's like,
Yeah.
And then I like dancing.
It's so good. That's what's up. That's what's up, though. That's beautiful. So as far as what makes you like, because you're social major and then you're all into all these social programs as well. So what really draws you to that aspect of it?
I just honestly, I love seeing people happy. I love, helping people.
Right.
I think that's what really drew me to the social work aspect of things. Like, I just love helping people in need.
Right.
So, that was that. With the social, I'm just, social person, I guess.
Yeah.
I was like a little bit more social back then than I am now, but I'm getting there.
Still a gift though. That's cool. It's cool. Cause it's really hard to be able to connect with people, especially with people from different walks of life. Cause you have to find a meeting point sometimes to make y'all both feel comfortable with actually getting to know each other a little bit more.
Right.
And then it's like what I'm saying. Sometimes you can find some people are just had a bad day, a little standoffish.
Right.
And it can be hard to really, especially with me personally have anxiety and stuff like that. I have a lot of mental health things I deal with. So I've always been like a social person, but really like it was low-key kind of hard, I'm not gonna lie, growing up because, especially being African parents, it can be a hit or miss when you're social. Like if you have too many friends, it's like, are you going outside every day is a party? Like it could be a little difficult, but I feel like even through that, learning where I fit was easiest by actually like putting myself out there and trying different things instead of staying comfortable with certain groups that I've already experienced, and actually putting myself into different spaces to meet new people and meet new experiences through those people. So what would you say was through the different organizations and stuff like that, what's your top 2 memories?
Memories. Memories. Well, definitely the clubs, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. Like, God really bless your girl. Like, I don't know how, but I've been like getting to like all these opportunities where like I'm in like the club living life. Like, as if I have the money. I don't have the money, or I don't. But like just people he surrounded me with, like, it's just a vibe. Like it's creating memories for sure. And then just like hanging out with my team, getting to know them a little bit better as well.
That's what's up.
Meeting people like baby.
We love making new friends. But why we got you here today, we want to dive into a little bit more of the spiritual aspect. So, as we get into that a little bit more, how do you feel like you've been able to manage, learning your new walk of life with yourself and, balancing it with everything else that you have outside going on?
I'm not gonna lie, it's been really hard.
Yeah.
It's been extremely hard.
Right.
Because I really had to relearn myself again.
Right.
And it's like I've already done that whole, healing, relearning myself, but then relearn myself in Christ.
It's a forever healing journey.
Forever healing journey. So it has been a struggle, and there's times where I had to be open about it with my team. Like, you know what, right now I'm just not in the space where I can handle so many things at one time. For sure. So I had to, open up, and then they were understanding about it, so I had to sometimes go down a position in my team or things like that. But I had to do it for me, because honestly, if I'm trying to figure out myself and I don't got myself straight, you know what I'm saying? How am I gonna help the world? How am I gonna bring people to Christ if I don't even help myself?
I get that. So, yeah. And on top of that, how do you feel like being? Because like we were talking about earlier, we meet different people and they're all reflections of God in different ways and reflections of ourselves and things that we still need to learn. So what do you think through all the social experiences that you deal with? What have you been learning the most about yourself through them?
Okay, what I've been learning the most about myself through the social experiences that I've had.
The social aspect, just the work side and the actual fun side too, because it's two completely different things. Preparing a good function as far as enjoying a good function.
I've learned that I'm really aware of a lot, especially when people when people do things just for not people to notice them. I notice them, and so sometimes I'm quiet, but I feel like God gave me that gift to not be quiet and kind of point it out sometimes, because with me being aware, sometimes I can often tell people are uncomfortable or and when they say they're okay but they're not okay, I kind of have that gift. So I feel like that's something that I have noticed about myself when I have been around people a lot. But I've learned that with this new self that I am, I learned that I'm more observant than as social as I used to be. Because I used to be really social. I used to walk up to people and say hi, my name, I just didn't care, you know what I'm saying? But now it's I'm more more observant. I'll stand by, kind of watch before I act on things, just because through with experience that I had in the past, that did bring me to God. I have to learn from my mistakes and learn that not everybody is as genuine as you, not everybody is as real as you. So that's just life.
No, for sure. Mistakes, so. No, for sure. And I believe heavily that everything, if we gain something from everything, and I don't really believe in mistakes per se. I do believe in lessons. I feel like there's always something to be learned, even in the darker times. You know what I'm saying? The things that we oftentimes want to run away from. A lot of times, it's not really us running away from that situation, but what we can find out about ourselves through that situation. Right. So it's especially when it comes to our triggers, that's one of the biggest things I've been working with this year. Now that I know I've taken the time to learn myself and actually understand my triggers, learning how that not only affects me, but the people around me. So that's a big thing, especially with social platforms. Like you said, right now you're more observant. Even that's a form of spiritual protection over yourself. Because a lot of times, especially when we're younger and we don't realize how the world really is sometimes and how people choose to be. You feel what I'm saying? So it's you can be more open with your energy and who you give your love to. And sometimes we just have to realize that not everybody deserves to be in that space with you. Your energy is a privilege.
I had to learn that the hard way. For sure. Because I'm just God really changed my heart. From where I was filled with so much anger and hatred, because the people that hurt me was people that I loved the most. It's one thing to be hurt by a close friend or something, but to be hurt by close friends, family, that stuff does something really to you. So just being obedient to God, listening to him when he told me I have to forgive those who never said sorry to me, forgive those who never given me grace, give grace to those who never given me grace. It's hard, but me doing that, it really did change my heart. So it's now I can see people through Christ's eyes and not through my own.
Right, that's beautiful though.
Yeah, it is, but it's just like sometimes too, like you have to set those boundaries.
Yeah, all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Go back.
Because really, if we think about it though, allowing people to disrespect our boundaries in a sense is allowing other people to disrespect God through us. Because if God lives within us and we're not protecting ourselves the way God would protect us, then you follow what I'm saying? We can't complain when we allow certain things to happen. Because it's like God says, forgive a man 7 times 70. And me, maybe 3 years ago, would not have been able to really understand that fully. But it's like you're not forgiving other people for them. You're forgiving other people to release that pain inside yourself. Because the longer you hold on to that pain, it's like you can't expect God to forgive you completely, and you can't forgive other people completely, even if you don't gain anything from it. Because in reality, you are gaining something. You're gaining your freedom. Because the more you allow that person to affect how you feel, the more that you're still holding on to that pain, you're holding on to that person, so you're not really letting them go. You can never really move on from that. That's why I feel like closure really is a facade, because a lot of times that closure is us, our ego wanting someone to say sorry, because we feel like we deserve it. We need to hear it instead of releasing that, because it's just not a place for us to be anymore, and looking for God to heal that pain instead of healing our ego's pain.
No, exactly. You're speaking facts right now. And God can never work through us with like a hated heart. He can't. So are you gonna stop your purpose for that person, or are you just gonna forgive them and let it go?
They already did what they did. It's not like you can go in the time machine and go change it.
And honestly, like with me, what helps me to be that empathetic towards people? Because honestly, people that don't know Christ, I'm so empathetic towards them, because it's like
you just don't know how beautiful the love is. That's why you're so angry, and I get it.
You don't understand it, and it's like you're literally living hell on earth.
Quite literally.
You know? Quite literally. So it's like I'm able to see like, you know, from that perspective, and that is like what draws me to like, you know, forgiving people and like still like, you know, having that love for them. Like, don't get me wrong, like I don't gotta like you. I really don't gotta like you. Like, there's a lot of people, I ain't gonna lie, I do not like. I really don't.
But you will respect me.
Yeah.
You will respect me at the end of the day.
And I still love you. Like, I feel like you can love somebody and not like them. To be honest. Like, if I still pray for you, if I still pray for your well-being, pray that God heals you, pray that, you know, you get the peace that you're looking for. That's love, you know? But I don't gotta be around you. You feel me?
A lot of people don't understand. That's unconditional love. That's not just regular love. Being able to love someone for who you know their heart is, even though you know that they can't respect your boundaries, so they can't be in your space right now, that's true, genuine, unconditional love. But it's another thing that we have to give grace to people for, because that's something I have to find within myself. No one on this earth, you know, gave that to me. I had to find that within God, within myself. You know what I'm saying? So I can give that grace, because I understand it takes a lot of people a long time to get to that point, because it's so hard to see outside of yourself and see outside of your pain. That's why it's like, people have done some really grimy things. No cap, like some grimy. Look, the way they treated Jesus in the Bible, like, people really be wilding like that in real life. People be wilding in real life, young. So it's like, it can be hard.
Yeah,
it can be so difficult, but like, the freedom that you find in that completion and that self-completion and like self-acceptance that this is just not where you're supposed to be at, then you're like, okay, so where am I supposed to be at? Because there's a blessing waiting after every closed door. You know what I'm saying? Just at another door. You just have to be willing to actually open your eyes and open your ears and open your heart after going through that pain, because it can be hard when you deal with people that, because another thing, like, spiritual warfare is a real thing.
So real.
You feel what I'm saying? So even
real.
You feel what I'm saying? Even like what you were saying, sometimes will be the closest people to you. Sometimes the devil will influence, even though it is their choice. Don't get that mistaken. So that boundary needs to be placed. But sometimes they're really heavily influenced by someone that's trying to get to you and stop your journey. So it's like, you can't even take shit personal. And
I'm just so glad that I'm able to see that. You know, I'm so glad that I'm able to see that. It's not only you. There's something in you that is not correct.
You know what I'm saying? I'll pray for you. I'll pray for you from a distance. Go back to Costa Rica. I'm so sorry. I can't deal with it. I can't. Because at the end of the day, you don't deserve it. You don't deserve to have to deal with that. If that person is allowing, you know, because there's a dark and light, there's duality in everybody. Everybody, like, darkness cannot exist without lightness, the same way lightness can't exist without darkness. But finding that balance in yourself is hard. So sometimes you just need to give people a space to do that, because you being there sometimes can be enabling one side more than the other, and that can even harden the ability to make that decision for themselves. So they're making decisions that you would feel good with in that time. It's coming from an emotional place, and then when you're gone, they're right back to doing the same different stuff. So it's like you can't even place expectations on people because they're not you. At the end of the day, they're not you, so their journey's not going to be yours. So you can't be predicting someone's journey based off of how you feel and how you want things to be, and then be mad when they don't go according to what you want, because it's not their life. It's not your life. You feel what I'm saying? That's crazy. But how do you feel like now, knowing all those things, you can, you know, mix that into the things that you do in bringing people closer to God through your experiences and your understandings, and just sharing that perspective?
No, definitely. You know, with like the whole purpose thing as well was also something really difficult for me as well, because I had to understand that like everybody has a different purpose, you know, and it's like no two purposes are gonna look the same. And that really was like something that I really battled with myself, because it's like, you know, I'm in all these media teams, I'm in all these, going to all these clubs, I'm enjoying myself, you know. I'm thinking like, how am I supposed to bring people to God like this? You know what I'm saying? I would kind of like feel bad about myself, but then it's like, God brought me to this place. Like,
exactly.
How do you not? Like, I'm telling you,
please.
By me trusting him, bro, he gave me step by step directly to this spot. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, now that I'm here, it's like, I was like battling trusting him, because it's like, it didn't look right in my eyes, you know? And God was telling me like, you know, you trusted me to get you to this point, but why can't you trust me to be able to work through, and work through you what you have so far? Like, you're trying to,
that's beautiful.
And it's like, you're trying to help people a certain way where I didn't bring you yet. You know what I'm saying? You're still learning, you're still growing. I didn't bring you to that point yet for you to help you in that way. Why don't you try to help people like what I've taught you already, what I've put you through already.
And appreciate that, because once you do that, you're actually appreciating what he's already taught you. That's
exactly.
the only way to even gain more lessons and gain more wisdom and gain more knowledge.
Honest,
so that's beautiful.
Honest. So I had to really like sit down with myself and understand that. Like, you know, like God is love. God is love.
In all forms.
In all forms.
Jesus himself was taken with a shower. So why do you think? You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you think? Like, everybody, and that's the thing. Another thing was placing expectations on people. Unfortunately, a lot of ways that we grew up to perceive God, it's like you have to look a certain way. You feel what I'm saying? Even this past Sunday, me and my mom, I would learn her into, because I like to debate. She just falls for it every time. And we were chatting, and she was like talking about, you know, being dressed for church and stuff like that. And I was like, if God asked you to come as you are, why are you stressing about pink something, blue something, long dress, short dress? You feel what I'm saying? Like, the whole point was to be there and experience God. She was like, and her rebuttal was, well, you will go out to a party and stuff like that and and dress up. I'm just like, right, present yourself how you would, but like, don't focus so much on how people are viewing you. Because God doesn't view you the same way people view you. God has a completely different lens than the people that you are surrounded about. You know what I'm saying? So whose gaze are you really looking for?
Whose gaze are you really looking for? And God really taught me that. He was like, if I'm okay with you, it doesn't matter who's not.
Did they bring you to this life?
It doesn't matter.
There was a million different sperm pieces that could have even came and been successful. You were the one who came.
Hey, come on. Like, God chose you. God chose you. And it's like sometimes I feel like the devil tries to make us think that we have to be perfect. You know? And that's one of his strategies, because you really don't. You really don't. It's really come as you are and let God work through you. Like, be still. Do every step that be obedient. That's something I'm also lacking. Being obedient.
That discipline.
Right. And then, like, waiting for him to give you the next step. Like, you know.
And it's like, if you think about it, if you were already perfect, what would God have to work with?
True.
To be honest, like, if you were already at a finished product, then how would you really be able to have impact? Because I've seen the most impact comes through sharing experiences. And that's a lot of things that we are scared to do, like, nowadays, because we don't have that sense of community, especially like here in the States compared to back home. It's like that sense of community is like everybody is has this mindset of every man for himself. So it's hard to now share experiences through people and learn through other people when you're just thinking about what's best for you, or what I can do for me. Instead of like, everything doesn't have to be transactional.
It really doesn't.
It really
Genuine
doesn't
connections.
Genuine connections are, because I'm like, that's the only way you'll see people in their purest form in themselves. And that's what you're supposed to learn from. You know what I'm saying? How God created us in our purest forms. Just being ourselves.
Just being ourselves.
Literally, bro.
Come on.
But yeah, honestly, that's been really an exciting journey for me, because now that I've taken the time to really learn myself, it's now just, looking at the little things, and now that I'm knowing where the roots are from, it's like, okay, so how can I understand that even more? And if there's nothing left to understand from that, what's next? And not only that, but how can I share my experience in a way that will help other people think the same way, instead of just being so focused on the now. Focus on why you do the things that you do, so you're actually able to grow from it. Because if you're just like, not accepting yourself and upset with certain things that you do, it's really hard to really think of yourself in a positive manner to have any positive growth from that. So I'm saying, it all starts with where your mind is at. That's the biggest war zone for spiritual warfare. So if your mind's not in the correct space, it's hard to hear God clearly and differentiate his voice from that of other entities and energies and stuff like that. That would make you want to go towards a more negative path. So it's like, learning how to clear your head is so important. And that can look different for everybody. You feel what I'm saying? Like going outside, or even being with people, that genuinely care about you and you care about. You never know how God will just speak through them one day and click something together.
God definitely will bring people to you for sure, and give you that advice that you always needed.
Literally.
And that you've been searching for, that you've been praying for.
You know what I'm saying?
What?
Once you start seeking God instead of seeking answers, the answers come to you. Hey, the answers will just be drawn to you. But it's like, you have to allow it. That's the thing we don't understand about flow. God moves in the flow. So if you have blockages in your life, you have to remove those blockages so he can flow freely through you.
That's true. And that's something I really had to struggle with. It's really been a journey. Like, it's really been a journey. Like, having to let go of my old habits that I usually do to bring myself to where I want to be. Like, having to let go of that and just trust God. It wasn't easy.
It was not.
It really.
Some days I was just sitting here like, okay, God. But, you know what I'm saying? If I do this, is it going to be another lesson? I'm not trying to backtrack. But you can't even be scared with stuff like that, because then you don't allow yourself the true freedom and grace to make those mistakes. So it's like, I've had to learn how to completely remove fear, because fear is really the biggest blockage. Fear of making mistakes, fear of moving on from who I used to be, fear of letting go of the things that I used to identify with, fear of letting go of the people I used to identify with, to bring in something. The thing is, the only way for new blessings to come in is if you clear out the old. So that's the hardest part.
I used to have fear of messing up God's plan.
Hey! The funniest joke, tell God your plans and he will laugh. He will laugh. He will laugh. Because we don't really know his plan. He will give us bits and pieces to help us guide us. But at the end of the day, he's the only one. He's very mischievous. Don't be. It's not even a bad thing. It's just, everything is just so meticulously placed for you to learn something from every single situation. So nothing just happens to happen. Every single thing that happens in your life is to help you expand in some way, shape, or form.
And you don't see it now, but you're gonna see it.
You're gonna look back like, wow.
That's why
that's cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm grateful to be here. Grateful to be here. But it's hard. It can be hard, y'all. It really can be hard, but sticking through it is so worth it. Because otherwise, what's the other option? To just be in a place of complacency. And if you're already grown from that place, at a certain point, you're just gonna end up being miserable. Because being in the same place for so long, you can only do so much with that before you're just going through the same repetitive phases, doing the same thing every day. God,
more to life.
Before I'm saying, God is newness in all forms. And if you allow him to flow through you, you continue to see new things flow into your life. But you have to really allow it the space to, because otherwise it's like...
And not act so much on emotions as well. Cause sometimes too, I feel like sometimes we give the devil way too much credit, bro. Sometimes too, our own self, we self-sabotage so much, like acting on emotions. Sheesh.
Like really, it's like, and that's what the devil be wanting, because when you don't know yourself and you just you acting from a place of emotion is reacting instead of responding. So when you don't take the time to listen for what you're supposed to be doing and respond to a situation, you'll end up just going with your first instinct, and which may not always be something that's going to be helpful for you. Right. You might end up taking a couple steps back, which is okay. Yeah, but if you don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Why? And it's okay. Like, we can't be scared to make mistakes. We can't be.
I beg.
We can't be scared to make mistakes, but at the same time, just be aware of your surroundings. That's not to say easiest, but you have to be consistent, just like everything else. You can't just say one day you want to listen to God, and the next day you want to be scatta because you don't like what he said to you. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Like, he knows best, I promise you.
For sure.
He knows best. He knows exactly what is meant for you.
And the thing is with that, he's omniscient, so he knows everything already. So why not go to the person who already knows how your story is written and all the different paths you could go towards the end of your story?
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, yes, God knows all things, but he gave us free will. And that's what people forget.
No way he broke my bracelet.
And in this moment, I knew she fucked up. Ella, Rascal.
Oh, she.
Hey,
open your mouth.
Tickets. I'm so sorry, my peoples. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to cut that out. Ella. I'm so sorry. Bro, Terrible Twos is going crazy right now. What were we saying?
What were we saying?
Quick little pop. We're gonna we have what, in 2 weeks? Less than 2 weeks. Less than 2 weeks. Yo, the African banquet of the year, the annual Afro banquet 2023. Why? Have y'all gotten your tickets? Did you?
They haven't gotten their tickets.
That's wild.
You haven't got your ticket?
You haven't gotten your tickets?
Yo.
Come on now. But
everybody's gonna be there.
Literally. Come on, be so for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's about to be there. It's summertime. It's finally summertime. Y'all graduating, you know. Put the student loans in the back of your head for one night and enjoy. You'll worry about it eventually. But right now, focus on enjoyment.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying?
It's supposed to be real good. We're gonna have food, drinks, free bar, entertainment.
Open bar. Drinking drinks.
Come on.
Drinking drinks. Don't scatter yourself in the wrong place that night. Be at the Afro Banquet. Check our information is gonna be linked below.
May 26th, y'all.
Period. May 26th at 9 p.m. Suit and tie or traditional wear. You feel what I'm saying? Be decked down. Show the people what you're working with.
Come on.
Show the people how you coming.
Bring your moves now.
Bring your moves. You feel what I'm saying? Just a little tutu. But yeah, y'all. Thank you so much for coming on. You feel what I'm saying? Y'all, this week, just focus on being authentic in your own journey, focusing on your own journey, and then just observing the things around you as you take that time to focus on yourself. Because the more you focus inwards is the more you focus on God. So the more you focus on God, the more he's able to actually speak to you and speak through you. So observe what you're saying to people, observe the things that people are saying to you. Take a second, ask God about it, and then learn what you're supposed to and keep it pushing with the rest.
Create that relationship.
He wants to know you. Relationship.
If
he
you
loves
can't be,
you.
If you can't be vulnerable around anybody else, you gotta be vulnerable around God.
Like, what's he gonna do? Just
right. Come on. Don't bring your pride there.
Literally, there's no pride in that space. He knew you before you were in the womb.
Yeah.
He already knows how you're gonna be. So there's no judgment there because he knows your heart already.
Right.
So go to the best place. You know what I'm saying? But y'all stay blessed. Have a great week. And stay tuned.